All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Hopefully, you can all hear me and see me okay. Um, Today, we're going to be moving through a yoga stretch, and this will be quite a fluid, feminine practice. And so, for all the males out there, please don't let this be a deterrent. I don't mean feminine as in it is only for the women watching. Each of us, no matter what gender we affiliate with, have both a masculine and feminine side. So with this practice, we'll be honoring the feminine, which is related to the moon or the left side of the body. So a beautiful practice. If you are joining me live now, perfect. But if you are searching for a practice in the evening, this will be a good one to come back to. Also, if you're feeling a little heightened, maybe a bit stressed or anxious, this is beautiful to bring that frenetic energy level down a little bit. If you're feeling a little heavy and sluggish, this will start to shift things and create more fluidity and lightness. So I have 2 blocks by me. Not necessary. If you want something that will just elevate your hands a little bit to give yourself a bit of space through the practice, grab it. It doesn't need to be a block. It might be a low chair or just an upside down basket or something. It's not something that's going to need to take a lot of our weight, but just support. You might also want a blanket. I don't have one with me, but it might be something that you want just to support your practice. So take a moment, gather any props that you want by you. I'm going to start off sitting up on one of my blocks. You might want to raise your hips a little bit as well. We'll start in our cross-legged position. So just taking a note of which leg you've got in front. We tend to always favor one side, so we're going to pick the other leg up and pop it in front, and it might take just a little bit to settle into the shape. It might feel a little weird on the second side, but you'll notice that we always sit one way, so we might be a little lopsided through the hips or something. So just taking a moment to even it out, and we'll be here for just a couple of minutes. So finding a comfortable seat. If the cross of the legs doesn't work for you, find a different seat. Find something that feels good for your body today. Grounding down through both sit bones, lengthening up through the crown of the head. When you're comfortable, close down your eyes. Starting to bring breath in and out through both nostrils. And taking a few moments to check in with how your breath is feeling today. Where it lands as you inhale, where you feel it as you exhale. Observing the qualities of the breath, the shape that it makes, the way that it tastes, the sound it brings. And with this focus on the breath, we start to participate in the act of breathing. We start to draw our attention, our awareness from everything that is going on around us and bring it in closer, in toward us, inside us. What's going on with how you're feeling, what's going on in your body, not just your physical body, but your energetic body, your emotional body. How do you feel as you sit here breathing this morning? What do you feel? Where do you feel it? And as we sit here, eyes closed, notice if your spine has started to curl. We've started to roll the shoulders forward. And just take a moment to lengthen it back out. almost as if the spine is made from a beautiful, vibrant substance, a metal, something metallic, something that shines, something that glows. And around this strong pillar, the rest of the body is allowed to soften. So while we stay sitting tall, the body is relaxed. So the shoulders melt back and down. And the neck is an extension of the spine, so the head balances easily on the neck and shoulders. Keeping our focus on the breath, start to visualize how it moves through your body. Maybe noticing if it moves through one nostril more than the other. Can you feel that sort of detail? And if you do, that's okay. If you don't, that's okay. Just really starting to focus our awareness. We're going to start off with a pranayama, a breathing exercise. You are welcome simply to visualize this if you're feeling a little blocked through one nostril or another, or just a bit too anxious this morning. Keep breathing through both nostrils, long, slow breaths. Follow the exercise in visualization only. Otherwise, if you're joining me, we're going to practice our Chandra Vedana, so our moon breath. This is taken slightly from the Nadi Shodhana, the alternate nostril breathing, but today we're just going to be breathing in through the left, out through the right. In through the left, out through the right. So we're cleansing the left side of the body. We're bringing ourselves into a more relaxed state. So the pointer and the middle finger are going to come to lightly touch the space between the eyebrows. It's really nice and gentle with the touch. The ring and pinky finger come toward the left nostril, again gentle with the touch. The thumb comes to the right nostril. Let's inhale through both nostrils. Exhale through both nostrils. 2 more breaths like this. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Inhale. Exhale. Block the right nostril with your thumb. Inhale through the left. Open the right, close the left, exhale through the right. Watch the cycle of your breath. Open the left, close the right, inhale through the left. Open the right, close the left, exhale. Open the left, close the right, inhale. Open the right, close the left, exhale. Keep this going, feeling the cycle of the breath. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. Maybe the cycle goes longer. Inhale through the left, give the breath time. Exhale through the right. Inhale. Exhale. Let's keep this going for a few more rounds. In through the left. And out through the right. And then your next exhale through your right nostril. Release your right hand from your face. Take it back down toward your right thigh or knee. Let's inhale through both nostrils. A long, slow exhale through the mouth. Twice more in through both nostrils. A big cleansing breath out through the mouth. One more time together. Open the mouth, let it go. And coming back to your nostril breathing. Long, slow, steady breaths. On your next exhale, let's reach the arms out wide. And then inhale, draw the arms back, expand the chest. Exhale, draw the hands forward, draw chin to chest, and then cross your arms into a big hug. Couple more times, inhale, expand. Nice and slow. Exhale, cross the arms the other way, give yourself a hug. One more, both sides. Inhale, as if you're moving through water or something thicker like honey. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, reach the arms out wide. And then exhale, circle the hands down behind you and interlace the fingers. Press the heels of the hands together. Inhale, draw the shoulder blades, lift the chest. And exhale, relax, release the interlace of the fingers. Inhale, circle the arms wide and all the way up. Interlace the fingers here. As you exhale, just a little lean out to the left, opening through the right side body, not crunching through the left side. Inhale, up through center. Exhale, a lean out through the right. Inhale, up through center. Keep the fingers interlaced, bend the elbows. Exhale, bring the palms behind the head. Holding on to the base of the skull. Inhale, lift it high, feel the chest expand, the elbows go wide. And then as you exhale, draw your elbows together, draw chin to chest, and take a moment here using the weight of the hands to stretch through the back of the neck. And then slowly, gently, just starting to rock the head one way then the other. Doesn't need to be a big movement. Maybe noticing if there's any particular part of the neck that feels tighter than the rest. Pause in those spaces, work them out. Find release where you need it in your body. You might want to start to make the movement a little bit bigger. And on your next rock out to the left, draw your left ear all the way around to your left shoulder. Release your left hand down toward the mat, just fingertips down. Inhale, reach your right arm high. Expand the chest, and then as you exhale, circle your right hand to the inside of the right knee. Look over your left shoulder. We'll do this again. Inhale, expand. It's almost like opening up a book. Exhale, draw in and look back over your left shoulder. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, right arm up. And then exhale, right hand behind the head, left hand behind the head. And again, we draw chin to chest. Take the right ear around to the right shoulder. And we come to the other side. Right fingertips find the mat. Left arm reaches for the ceiling. Big breath in, expand the chest. Exhale, left hand to the inside of the left knee. Turn the gaze over your right shoulder. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, reach the left arm up. Exhale, bend the elbow, hand behind the head. Right hand comes behind the head as well. Interlace the fingers. Inhale, send both elbows wide. Lift your chest, lift your face toward the ceiling. And then exhale, come back through center. Inhale, reach the hands high. Release the interlace of the fingers. Exhale, circle your hands down beside you. Let's uncross those legs. We've been here a while, so take your time to take the legs out long in front of you and maybe just give them a little bit of movement. And then we're going to cross the ankles again just so that we can come over the knees and come forward into our tabletop. So if you were sitting up on something, you might want to pop it out to one side. Placing knees down underneath hips, wrists down underneath shoulders, placing your hands carefully, feeling the contact you have with the mat beneath you. And then a nice slow inhale, tilts the tailbone high, stretches the belly out, draws the chest forward between the upper arms, gazes forward. As you exhale, draw chin to chest, hollow out the belly till the tailbone tilts the tailbone down. We're going to stay here. Press into the knees a little. As you inhale, come right up onto the fingertips. Exaggerate the curl of the upper back. And then we're just going to start to shift one side of the upper back higher than the other, and then the other side. So this is your angry cat, but this is your angry cat having a bit of a stretch. One way than the other. This might mean more of a sway of the hips. Stay light on the fingertips. And then coming back through center, placing the palms down. Your knees stay underneath your hips. Start to melt your heart space down toward the mat by walking your hands forward. Anahatasana, sinking the chest down. The forehead might come down. You might want to place a block or a blanket underneath the forehead just to give yourself a little bit of space, a little bit of height here. Otherwise, breath by breath, allowing the chest to melt in. And if it's comfortable, again, you might want to have a little sway side to side, only if it feels good. Maybe dipping a little more through one shoulder at a time. Letting the movement be fluid and come naturally from the body. Not coming from the mind thinking, oh, I should be doing this or I should be doing that. And if you were moving, taking your time, come back to center. And we're going to be really careful with this next movement. We lift the head and look forward. The arms are parallel. Elbows and palms stay down onto the mat. Press into your elbows. Rock your shoulders forward until they come above the elbows. Draw belly button to lower back. And then we're going to keep shoulders above elbows, and we're just going to slide one leg back at a time until the hips carefully lower. Now, we don't want to do that too fast because we don't want to just jam into the lower back as the hips come down. So taking your time to lower, legs go back behind you, feet hip distance apart, no wider. Press your toes down into the mat actively so that the legs become active, the kneecaps lift. And then press your pubic bone down into the mat and feel as if you're trying to draw it forward toward your sternum. So forward and up. This automatically makes us more active across the belly. Press down into the elbows and try draw them back toward your hips, and we start to send chest through the upper arms. Notice if you're sinking down into your shoulders, and instead press into the elbows, lift the top of your head as high to the ceiling as you can. Notice what's happened here. How have you started to breathe? How are you feeling? And then again, you might want to stay at center, or if it's feeling good, you might want to start to shift side to side. If the lower back isn't happy here, start to slide the hands back, and you can come a little lower, just relaxing one shoulder at a time as you move. If you're feeling quite happy here and want to work a little higher, maybe starting to lift the elbows, giving yourself a little bit of movement here. And again, if movement isn't coming to you, if you prefer to work in more stillness, just breathing and feeling, please do so. And go for one more full breath in. Wherever you are, long breath out. And then if the elbows are lifted, bringing them down. And if you are on your elbows at all, slide back, take a right cheek down to the mat. My right arm is going to extend out from my body at a 90-degree angle. So my arm is straight, my hand is in line with my shoulder, palm faces down. Right cheek stays nice and heavy. And let's bend the left knee, draw the left foot toward the left glute. And then reach the left hand back to take a hold of the foot. Now, it doesn't matter where it is. If you need to lift the head in order to reach the foot, let's not worry about it. Let's just keep the foot lifting and pulling in. If you have something that you can use to take a hold of the foot, like a strap or a belt, go for it. But otherwise, not necessary. Keep the left hip pressing down into the mat as the left foot draws toward the left glute. Now you can stay here keeping this quite passive, or you might want to draw the left foot in more actively. Using the options that feel best for your body, if you are drawing in more actively, make sure that that left hip isn't lifting. Press the left hip bone down. Maybe the left foot starts to move in toward just toward the outside of the hip. Taking a couple more breaths here. Nice big stretch out for the left hip flexor and the left quad. And then if you have a hold of the foot, releasing it but keeping the knee bent. Take your left hand down underneath your left shoulder. Keep your right cheek on the mat. Roll onto your right side. Left foot comes behind the right leg. And we use this to give our right shoulder a nice bit of opening, but also a nice little twist out for the lower back. So you want to draw that left hip back as much as feels good. Keep the right cheek heavy. And then to come out of this, let's extend the left leg long, roll back onto our bellies, and we'll go straight to the other side. So left arm goes to the left at a 90-degree angle from the body. Left cheek comes down to the mat. Right knee bends. And we can stay here, or we reach the right hand back for the right foot and start to draw it in. Left cheek is heavy. Noticing if the right hip is wanting to lift or the right knee is wanting to lift, and draw the hip down into the mat. And we feel a much stronger stretch. And again, you can be as passive as feels right here, or be more active by really drawing that foot in and perhaps bringing it closer toward the outside of the hip, only if the knee is happy. Getting as heavy into your mat as you can. One more breath here. And releasing the foot, keeping the knee bent. Right hand comes underneath right shoulder. Left arm stays where it is. We roll onto our left side so the right foot comes behind the left leg. Left cheek stays on the mat. Nice big stretch out for the left shoulder head. And the more you draw that right hip back, the more this also turns into a twist for the lower part of the spine mostly. Let's take a few big breaths in and out here. And then to come out of this, let's straighten the right leg out. Roll back onto the belly. Forehead comes down to the mat. We're going to reach both hands behind us, interlace the fingers, press the heels of the hands together. If this is not accessible, hands down by the sides, palms face up. Wherever you are, as you inhale, start to pull your hands back toward the bottom of your mat. And then lift them up a little. If your fingers are interlaced, you'll feel the squeeze together of the shoulder blades. We're expanding across the top of the chest. Gaze stays down in front of you, maybe 10 centimeters in front of you toward the top of the mat. Press down through the tops of the feet. Press down through the pubic bone. And take a few breaths here. And then use an exhale, relax and release. Forehead back down to the mat. Hands come down underneath the shoulders. Let's tuck the toes under. As you inhale, press up toward your tabletop. And then as you exhale, we're going to tuck the toes, lift the hips, lift up and back to our downward facing dog. So keeping the knees soft, lifting and spreading the sit bones, allowing the head to relax. Chin to chest even a little bit so the back of the neck is truly lengthened. And then give yourself the movement that you need here. You might want to pedal out the feet or sway the hips or anything else that calls. Whatever movement that you're taking, notice if you start to rush. Notice if your sort of natural state is to move quickly, and slow it down. The movement isn't about reaching any destination. It's just moving because it feels good. So explore the body with your movement. Notice how the backs of the knees feel. Notice how the palms of the hands feel. The throat. The top of the belly. Let your awareness travel through your body. And then we're going to start to step the feet. Take your time up toward the top of the mat. You might want to come up onto your fingertips. You might want to bend the knees. Feet come to hip distance apart. Bend the knees generously now so your belly rests on your thighs and almost your knees and your armpits are traveling in toward each other. Again, head drops heavy, back of the neck is lengthened, and just give yourself some movement here. Transferring the weight lightly from one foot to the other. And we're going to start to bring the movement more into the upper body. Swaying the arms from side to side as if your fingertips are lightly drawing a rainbow across the top of your mat. And with this visual instruction of the rainbow, notice if your movement had started to stiffen. And then let go of that stiffness. Let the rainbow be whatever shape it needs to be. We're going to slowly take this sway and bring ourselves up to standing. So leading from one side to the other as you lift. And then once you reach the top, chin is still tucked slightly to the chest, just rolling one shoulder at a time. And then lifting the head and coming through center. Take a moment just to feel what it is to be standing. And then drawing the palms to face upward. As you inhale, circle the arms forward and out for the front body, expand. And we're going to circle the hands around toward the lower back, fingers facing down, massage the top of the glutes downward. As you draw the elbows toward each other, lift and expand through the chest. And then as you exhale, bend the knees, melt belly onto thighs, release the hands, release the head. As you inhale, come to a halfway lift, hands to shins, fluid with your movements. And as you exhale, fingertips come down to the mat in front of your feet. Inhale, pick your left leg up, take a big step back. Exhale, allow the knee to come down toward the mat. So adjusting, you want your hands now to either side of the right foot. Your feet are still in line with your hips, so we're on those train tracks, drawing the inner thighs toward each other. As you inhale, reach the arms up. And keeping the hips nice and even, as you exhale, right hand to right hip, or maybe right fingertips to the mat as you lean out to the right side, expanding the left side of your body. We're going to inhale, come back up. I'll come this way just to see. Exhale again, lean out. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come on up through center. As you exhale, circle the left hand forward and down. Left hand to the inside of the right foot. Now this is an opportunity to grab one of your blocks or something that you might want to use to support. Give yourself a bit of space here by raising that left hand onto something. Otherwise, if it's comfortable keeping it down onto the floor or your mat, please do so. Back toes untuck if they aren't already. Right hand comes to the right knee. We're going to swivel the right toes out toward the top right corner of the mat. Allow the hips to relax forward without pressing. And then if this is feeling okay, you might want to roll to the outside edge of the right foot. If the hip doesn't like that, keep the foot grounded. So using the option that feels best. Notice what's happening through this left shoulder. If you're sinking into it, press out of the floor, draw away from it, shoulder away from your ear. Right knee presses to the right so we can draw the right shoulder back in space. As you inhale, rotate chest towards ceiling. And then as you exhale, relax into the hips, look down toward your left hand. 2 more times here. Inhale, press away, find a little lift. And then exhale, sink in. 1 more deep breath in. And long breath out. Now, if you are on the outside of that right foot, let's draw the right sole of the right foot back down to the mat and turn the toes to point forward. We're going to press into the right knee. Inhale, come back up toward our lunge. Reach left hand up toward the ceiling. And then as you exhale, circle the left hand back. Inhale, reach left hand up, look forward. Exhale, circle the left hand back. 1 more time, inhale. Exhale, circle back, and we might want to stay here, maybe gazing back. If it feels accessible, start to bend the left knee, reach for the foot. This is totally optional. And then explore what your body is asking for here. We might want to stay. We might want to start to kick the left foot away from you, stretching out the shoulder. You might want to start to draw the left foot toward you, stretching the quad and the hip flexor. So the subtle differences in movements give us a totally different body experience. Taking the option that feels best for you today. 3 breaths. Let the breaths be fluid. Don't let the movement or the shapes that we make be rigid or stagnant. Instead, find a little movement through them as feels right. Might not be a visual movement, it can simply be a feeling of fluidity. If you do have a hold of the foot, as you release it, make sure it's a nice slow journey back down toward the mat. And then we're going to go left hand down behind the right foot, and then draw your both hips back and flex your right toes up. So left hand is about underneath the left shoulder. Again, if you have a block, height here is nice. You don't have to be palm down. You can be up onto the fingertips. This right leg is drawing towards straight, and we're going to inhale, reach the right arm up, but draw the right hip down. And then exhale, circle the right fingertips down, look over the left shoulder. Twice more, inhale, reach the right arm up, draw the right hip down. Exhale, circle the right hand down, look over the left shoulder. One more, deep breath in. And long breath out. Okay, looking down. Both hands are going to come to the inside of the right foot. We're coming toward our Skandasana, so you might want to sit on something. We might not want to take too much pressure into the left knee. I'll take you there first and then give you options. So we're tucking the left toes. We're sitting left hip back toward left heel, and then lifting the left knee and swinging it out to the left. Now you can see just how high my left heel is. Let's stay high first and work on this closeness of hip and heel. Fingertips to the mat, or again, if you have something that you want to work underneath your hands to give yourself a little bit more height here, please do so. Pressing down into your right heel, flexing your right toes up, so we feel a really big lengthening through the hamstring, but also the inner thigh on the right leg. If this is comfortable, you might want to start to draw the hips back and work that left heel down toward the mat. This is a big movement on the hips, so bringing that heel down is definitely not necessary. And even if it's something that you know you can do, maybe take a moment and explore not doing it today, being somewhere where you can find more fluidity and movement rather than sinking so deeply into something that we get stuck. So support your body through each movement that we take. Let's take a couple more breaths here. Giving yourself permission to move, to breathe. And then we are going to press our hands down, lift ourselves up through center. Hands to the mat or hands to something to give you a bit of height. Turn the toes in slightly. So the outside edges of the feet are parallel to the short end of your mat. Squeeze your inner thighs like you're trying to draw your legs together. Press down to the outside edges of the feet. Inhale, chest forward. And then exhale, melt into your wide-legged forward fold. So we might be here, letting the head relax, keeping the spine long. If it's accessible, start to move the crown of the head down toward the mat. Again, avoiding pushing to 110% and instead pulling back to whatever feels right today. And that might be 20%, it might be 40, it might be 33. It might be something more like 80 if you're really feeling an energy flow through you. And bring yourself back to a point where you can move. Whether the movement is visual, great. Whether if it's more just a fluidity, a sense of movement. And then we're going to make our way back up toward the top of the mat. So if you're using your prop, you might want to bring it with you. Swivel your right toes back forward. Walk your hands around and take a big step forward with your left foot. Feet to hip distance apart. Inhale, let's bring hands to shins. Big half lift. Exhale, soften and fold. And then slowly rolling ourselves up to standing again. You might want to take that slow sway side to side, or you might want to just come straight up through center. Whatever is working for you. And once you reach the top, let's draw both shoulders together up into the ears. Feel the breath pull in. As you exhale, roll the shoulders back, shoulder blades melt down the upper back toward the kidneys. 2 more times. Inhale, big roll forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, full body movement. Exhale. Inhale, palms come to face up, an offering or a willingness to receive. And then let's reach the hands forward, spread them out, expand across the chest. Take the hands to the lower back, melt the top of the glutes down, draw the elbows toward each chest. Big breath in. Soften the knees as you exhale, lead with the heart, fall down over your legs. Hands and arms relax, forward and downward. Inhale, half lift, lengthening out. Exhale, fold fingertips to the mat or a block in front of your feet. We are going to this time step the right foot back and bring the right knee down to the mat. Squeezing the inner thighs, feet are in line with the hips. Inhale, come on up, reach the hands high. And then exhale, left hand to left hip or left fingertips down to the mat or a block. Inhale, right arm reaches a little higher. Exhale, lean out to the left, lengthen through your right side. 2 more times here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lean out to the left. Inhale, reach. Exhale, out to the left. Inhale, reaching back up through center. Exhale, circle the right hand forward and down. Fingertips or palm to the mat, or you might want to bring that height in, give yourself a bit more space here. We're going to make sure the back toes are untucked. Turn the left toes toward the top left corner of the mat. Left hand to left knee. You can stay here if this is feeling like more than enough through the hips, or if it feels accessible, roll to the outside edge of the left foot and start to massage that left knee away from you. So making sure we're not sinking down and collapsing into the right shoulder or dropping the right hip too far down. You'll notice if you've rolled out to the one side of the back foot, you want the top of the back foot to still be on the mat. So we're getting this stretch down the hip flexor and the quad rather than the outside of the leg. And we'll start to move through this. As you inhale, press away from your left knee and imagine you're drawing your chest up toward the ceiling. And then as you exhale, sink into the hips and look back over the right shoulder. 2 more times. Inhale, pressing away, lifting up. And exhale, fluidly relaxing into it, looking over the right shoulder. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. And then inhale, coming back through center. If you're on the outside edge of that back foot, let's bring the sole of the foot down. Bring the left toes back to face forward. Left hand presses onto your left knee to help us lift all the way up. Right arm reaches high for the ceiling. We're going to go for a big breath in, reaching the fingertips a little higher. And then as you exhale, circle the right hand back, look toward the back of the room. Inhale, circle back up, looking forward. Exhale, circle back, look toward the back of the room. 1 more time. Inhale. And exhale. And you might want to stay here simply using the fingertips to reach, to lengthen out the arm, open across the shoulder, sink into the lunge. Otherwise, if you feel it is accessible today on this side, picking the foot up away from the mat and taking it into the hand. Two options here. You can either be drawing the foot away from you, giving the shoulder more of a stretch, turning the body into more of a twist. Otherwise, you can start to draw the foot in toward you. You don't go quite so deep in the hips, but it's a big radical stretch out for the top of the right thigh, quad, and the right hip flexor. So I'm feeling better drawing in today. I feel a little bit more stable. Notice if you've started to tense and stiffen. Keep the breath moving fluidly through the body. Now, if you've taken a hold of that right foot, it's a slow, careful release back down toward the mat. We're going to circle the right arm back up, inhale, and then draw the hips back, circle the right hand down. Right hand comes down underneath the right shoulder. Maybe you use some height, maybe we just have the fingertips down. Press into your left heel, draw the left toes back toward the face. The left leg comes towards straight, doesn't need to be all the way there. All right, as you inhale, reach the left arm up, expand chest toward the ceiling, look up. And then the exhale circles the left hand down and we look back over the right shoulder. Two more times, inhale. Exhale. One more, deep breath in. And long breath out. And then coming back through center, and we're going to come into our Skandasana. So I'm going to switch myself around so I don't end up with my back to you. But I'm still left leg forward. Left toes extended up. Tuck the right toes under. Sit right hip back toward right heel, and then pick the right knee up and swing it out to the right. Left leg was long, and if I'm wrong, forgive me. But what we did from there was come up into another forward fold. So let's come to this now so that we feel a little bit more even. Folding ourselves down, and allowing the head to melt heavy, giving the neck a little roll. And again, it doesn't need to be deep. It doesn't need to be the deepest stretch you've had all day. Let's focus on the fluidity, the gentle opening of the body. As we move, this fluidity, this working through different parts of the body helps us to unstick those areas that feel quite stiff or tight or like we're holding on to something. We massage them slowly, gently, and they start to release rather than hitting them or pulling them. So from here, we're going to start to move the hips side to side and the toes start to point out toward the corners of the mat. You might want to bring yourself up, hands to knees to gain a little bit more height. And again, just shifting side to side, a little taller. And then finding center. And we'll bring that movement into the shoulders one way then the other. And then coming back through center, hands come down, we find our way back to the top of the mat. I turn to face you, so this is now my top. Finding a forward fold, relaxing the head, letting the back of the neck go long. And we're just here so that we can place our hands down, walk our feet back, release the knees down to the mat. Let's take the knees wide, hip distance or even as wide as the mat. And then settle hips back toward heels. Forehead releases down. If you want to bring a block underneath the forehead or a rolled up blanket underneath the knees to give them a bit of space, please do so. Settling into your balasana. And breathing big breaths up into the back body. And if you want a little more on the arms or the shoulders, you can bend the elbows and bring a prayer behind the head. But again, not taking the option just because it's there, but taking it because that's what the body is calling for. And deep, relaxing breaths here. And then reaching the arms long. If you did take the bend of the elbows, use your inhale to slowly draw yourself upright. Shoulders come over your hips. And then let's swing the legs out to one side. And take them forward in front of you. Legs can go long, or we can keep a bend in the knees. I sometimes like to support the bend in my knees. So if you have a blanket, blocks, or really anything, a pillow, that can be a nice option. We'll inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, melt belly to thighs. Let the head go heavy. A few big breaths here. And these forward folds encourage introspection, a turning in. A withdrawal of the senses from the external world. And they're a beautiful way to close our practice. Whether the movement has been dynamic or not, it has been expansive. So let's encourage a turning in as we settle down towards stillness. Slowly rolling up. You might want to keep the eyes closed now. Trusting yourself to move. If you support it underneath the knees, you can remove that support, shuffle the hips forward. And then we're going to windscreen wipe the knees one way then the other. Just to release through the hips one final time. As I windscreen wiper, I like to lift the hip that's on top and turn it into a little twist as well. That might be something that calls to you, that might not feel good at all. So listening to your body. And this is our final little movement before stillness. So take your time with it. And then when you're ready, taking the soles of the feet to the mat. Leaning forward, taking the weight out of the hands, belly onto thighs, and then gently, carefully placing yourself down. Vertebra by vertebra as you roll down. Back of the head grows heavy. Extend the legs, let the toes fall out to either side. Backs of the hands find the mat, palms face up. Fingers curl gently in toward the palms. Explore the body in your mind's eye and feel if there's anywhere that you still are holding. Take a moment to focus your breath to that space. Create space with the inhale. And feel release as you exhale. Let that part of the body grow heavier. Surrendering to these final moments of your practice. And it can be really tempting to cut our Shavasana short, but this is where we really reap the rewards from the movement, from the work we did on our mats. So we let the body absorb the lessons from the movements that we took. We allow this feeling of openness to wash over us, this feeling of space. And we absorb it so that we can take it forward into our day rather than just releasing it and letting it stay on our mat for us to come back to. We let it integrate so that when we move away from our mat, it comes with us as it is a part of us. If your mind has started to wander, take a moment, draw it back to this body on your mat, to how it feels, to the way that your breath moves in and out, to the points of contact you have with the mat beneath you, to the points of contact you have with the air, the space above you. This opportunity both to ground and to expand in one moment. This opportunity is always available to you. So in each moment, working into the space that you need to honor yourself. If you have the time to stay here, please do. And if you're ready to move on into your day, start to reawaken the body slowly with gentle movements. And as if you're lovingly waking up someone that you love, someone that you care for. Feeling deeply into each movement, maybe starting to roll the head, wiggle the fingers and toes. And then bending the knees, rolling onto your preferred side. And carefully lifting yourself up into a seat. Bringing the palms together at the heart center. Ending our practice in gratitude. Namaste.